Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mind and Muse, Crochet and Fiber podcast. I'm your host, Caroline, and when I come to you from the western side of the island of Puerto Rico in the Caribbean, where I live with my husband, and it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been back to this channel, and so today I'm bringing you episode 45, which might not be the longest podcast I've ever filmed, but it's just a check-in. I wanted to come back and check in with you guys because it's been a while. So let's begin by welcoming you back if you are a returning viewer, and hoping that you have been well in these past couple of weeks where we haven't spoken to each other, and saying welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are a first-time viewer, thank you for pressing that watch button and accepting the challenge of joining me for the next maybe half hour or so. It's been a hard couple of weeks for me. That's why I have stayed away, because we have been at the end of the semester. I am a math professor at a local university, and the end of the semester is always difficult, but this year, since COVID and we all went remote, it was even more difficult. And I was finishing 2 contracts more or less at the same time, and that had me really stressed out. It was a lot of work to be done, and there was a lot of instability of once those contracts ended, if I would have another contract for the upcoming semester. I still don't know that. But I have secured the payments of those contracts, at least by finishing the work that was required of me. And they have told us since that we might be beginning the new semester also remotely until the local government allows us to reinitiate classes both in our public system and at the university level. So they believe that we will begin the next semester remotely, and so they have required that we take a seminar, a summer seminar, to capacitate us to offer distance courses. Now, we just finished a good 3 months of distance learning, and now, well, yeah, of course, now, because we were on a conditional permit to offer our courses remotely by those agencies that certify us as so that we can operate on the island as a university. So in order for that permit to be extended, I guess there had to be an official preparation of those teachers or professors participating in these online classes. So we're all there, 200 and some professors taking a 5-day course remotely, and then we'll be left on our own for the month of June so that we can complete the first couple of modules of the course that we will be teaching next semester. And then we will have until the end of December to complete the 13 modules that compose that course. So it's going to be a rough time, guys. It is going to be a rough time, but I at least yesterday handed in the works of my second contract. And so, it's not completely over. They have to evaluate it, return it for any recommendations, but at least it's done. And so I was able yesterday to say, Adobe is free, and just have a sit down and a lay back and do nothing but watch YouTube TV and Netflix and Disney Plus and all whatever else I watched, which I don't remember. And I did get in a couple of lines of crochet on the projects that I'm working on. So having rested yesterday, I decided that today was going to be the best day to record this, because of the fact that tomorrow, Monday, I return to complete that summer seminar. And after that, well, there'll be some work that I need to get done. Not as a heavy workload as we had during the semester, but I'll have more time. I'll have more time to work on my crafty projects. I'll have more time to share with you, and hopefully the same will be for you. I mean, I have noticed that over the last podcast got very few views. I'm guessing that some of you have become ill. I know for a fact that some of my viewers and some of the people that I follow on Instagram have lost family members to this virus, and it's very unfortunate. My heart goes out to all of you that are without a job right now, that are pulling your hairs out trying to figure out how you're going to make ends meet for you and your family. And for those of you that have lost family members up close, parents, brothers, sisters, this is a hard time. And even though I don't know personally any of those 100,000 some people that have passed to this illness, my heart still goes out to all of those that are suffering. And I know it's got to be hard for all of you, because even though it's not touching me directly, I find it hard. I find living through these times very hard. And so it is so nice to know that there are people on this space, well, not this space, but the YouTube space and Instagram and the other social medias that are trying to keep your mind busy and keep you not thinking about those conditions in which we are living. Right here on the island at present, we are still under curfew in the evenings from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m., but we have opened everything except the education systems. And I do believe that today, well, if you are a weekend worshiper, or at least a weekend, the weekend is the time where you get together with your people of similar beliefs. On the island, at least, I do believe this is the first weekend that those meetings are allowed to occur. So we are still required to wear a mask. We are still required to keep social distancing. So it's participate and use these services if you need to, but if not, you should be in your home. That is the basic idea. We have opened up beaches, but only for recreational exercise, that you go for a walk, for a run on the beach. And that's a little bit more difficult to wear a mask there, but it's also social courtesy that if there's somebody running on this side of the road and both of you are unmasked, well, you go to different sides of the roads so that you can protect each other, that type of thing, which I'm sorry, I'll say it, but we're not very well known for our social courtesy, so I don't know how well that's working out. Honestly, I have not been out of this house for the past 2 months. I have several conditions that put me in that more sensitive group of people that need to take more care in those social distances, so I've been doing that. And honestly, I'm a little bit afraid of getting out there again. So it'll go slow, but it'll go, right? And in the meantime, well, we try and come back here now that I have more time and share a little bit with you. And like I say, my best wishes go out, and my prayers so that those of you going through a rougher time than I am will have the strength that you need to get yourselves through this. So I usually begin the crafty side of this podcast by mentioning what I'm wearing, or what I have called it walking the talk, because it's somewhere where I show you something that I've made in the past and how and when I use it. And it's just, for me also, it's a part of the podcast where I bring back to life things that I've made in the past and that I like to look at and I like to share with you. And for some motive, I want to remember some stitch that I learned, or some technique that I used, or the moment in time where I made this. And so today I am bringing back well, I can't say bringing back. I am bringing to you because I don't believe that I have ever shared this with you on the podcast. But it is a necklace that I made sometime. Oh, it's got to be maybe close to 8 years ago, because I made this while Clarissa Beth was studying still her master's degrees in New York. She was in Syracuse for a couple of years, and she had a lot of more access over there to the thrift shops and the antique shops. And in one of her ventures, she purchased this pendant for me. This pendant for me. And it's not actually a pendant. I'll show you that it was actually a brooch. It was actually a brooch. But I cut off the broochy part. I cut off the finding, that pin that holds it to your clothes, and I created a pendant. A pendant, not in itself, but it's added to a necklace, right? And so it looks to me like a brass, but it's in very, very good condition. And I'll just, it's got like gold undertones, though I know it's not really gold. And I don't even know if it's in some way a plating. I know it's not. I mean, you can tell that it's got that weathered down look to it. And so, well, I don't know if, as you can see there, but you can tell that I added wire in this little section here. I tied it with 2 pieces of wire at each corner. And then that's how I attached my necklace. And it's got, of course, pearls, because I love pearls. I think it would be my signature bead. I love them. These are just freshwater pearls. And I can't remember. I don't know if it's a fossil stone. I can't remember right now. But those little barrels I thought were really cute. And then it just has an element of wire, wrapped wire. This wrapped wire element, where you wrap wire several times and then kind of like tie a knot at the top. And so, yes, I made that up several years back because I just always wanted to have something that my daughter gave to me close. And it is on a good day that I have her close to me, because today, March 31st, if I didn't say that before, March 31st, and okay, sorry about that. I was briefly interrupted because I had told my daughter that I wouldn't call her today, and but she called me, so I had to stop for a second because my daughter Clarissa, today, it is her 1-year anniversary. So I had written her a message early. I didn't want to call her because I told her we talk every day and sometimes several times a day. And I said, well, tomorrow I won't call you, so I'll just leave you 2 guys alone, so you all, everything will be about each other. But she called me. So I took a short break to answer that phone call. But it was going to be an introduction to my first finished object. The first project that reached the end of the line over these past couple of weeks is a project that you have never seen before, and it is a project of my own design. And this was what this is the project. It is a toilet roll cover that I was looking for some time, because I wanted to put one in each of my bathrooms so that, there would always be a roll in an emergency somewhere, and it wouldn't be hard to find. So I went for it and I designed this. I don't know how to put it so you can see it at its best. Well, anyway, I designed this cover, and I started out with a circle at the bottom. I had purchased some time ago this chunky yarn from, I bought it as a D-stash, but it is from Stylecraft Chunky. And let me see if this is the ball band here. No, this is not the ball. So I don't know where I put the ball band to that, but it's Stylecraft Chunky, and it's some type of like an apricot color, or very, yeah, apricot color. I don't know what the real name is, but that's the color that I'm seeing here. And once I made the circle, I didn't worry too much about seeing through the holes or anything like that. Wasn't my objective. Maybe if I do it again, I would use a stitch that yes, that was more closed. And a stitch comes to mind, that's all. But anyway, I didn't worry too much about that there. I just wanted to get my circle done. And once I had to circle the size of the roll, because my husband has been doing the purchases, going out and doing the shopping over this COVID time, and he has been purchasing the gigantic rolls of well, not been purchasing, because he only purchased them once, but he bought a big package of these really fat rolls. And so I wanted to, I made it specifically for this size. I don't know if it'll fit any other sizes because I don't have any to try them out now. But anyway, so after I did the circle, I brought up using, that's probably in the back loop only. And then I used along the side, it's called the faux, it's a faux bobble stitch, where you do, it might be one single crochet followed by one treble or one double treble. That's American terms. And I just went around one row of that, alternating the double trebles with the single crochet, and then 3 rows of single crochet, and then again. So I went all the way up and all the way around until I had that done. Once I got to the top, I knew that I wanted something that I could remove because I got to get the toilet roll paper out of there. So I made a separate top, in the same just going around in circles sort of way. I made the top, and then to the top I edged it obviously in a crab stitch because that's my signature, my crab stitch edging. And then I wanted to add something to the top, and I found these, what were they? They were like succulents. They don't look like succulents anymore because they've lost all their shape. They've been in a box and they've been squished for a year already. But these were the succulents that we put on Clarisabeth's cake for her wedding last year. And so we ordered the cake was made, but we decorated the cake with crocheted succulents. And if I find a picture of a decent picture, it was really dark in the venue. So if I find a decent picture, I'll put it up for you. But remnants. This is what's been left over, but it's been lying around my house for a year. Well, a little bit less than a year at the time that I was making this. So I just decided to put them on top, and that way, I could have a memory also of her. And Maybe I should actually send this to her. There are more succulents around there. She made lots of succulents. So I could make one of these and send them to her. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So I don't know. Anyway, those designs that, you make, it's useful, decorative, and, I think all those little things look like cute around the house, in my kitchen, in my bathroom. And so, yeah, that is project number 1. Project number 2, my second finished object, is also one of those short and quick projects. This one is from Inside Crochet. It was from Inside Crochet issue 125. In their issue 125, I'm going to try and pull it up for you here. I receive Inside Crochet and Simply Crochet as digital magazines. But anyway, this was a teapot holder. Not a pot holder, not a teapot holder. It is called Time for Tea. And it is by Jane Saja. And I am probably killing that name because I think it's, I'm not reading it correctly. It's Czaja. But I know I follow Jane on Instagram, and I believe that at some moments she has also watched this podcast. So I was very happy to see. It is just so lovely when you open up a magazine and you see people that you think you know. Oh, look, there's my friend. But yes. And so there is her pot holder. I think that is beautiful. And I actually like a lot in the magazines the actual photo. I think that photo is it's a great shot. Looks like to me like a cabin where they're going to make some tea or some coffee, and they've got the pot holders hanging. I thought that was beautiful. She used paint box yarns, which is a cotton Aran, and so I'm never really sure what Aran means in terms of the stuff that I can get. To me, Aran just means really thick, but not thick enough to be something like bulky. But I don't know. I think it compares to like a thick worsted on our side of the world, if that can be said, but maybe less than. I don't know how it compares to a chunky, for example. I don't know how it compares to a chunky. Maybe less, maybe a little bit less than a chunky. You guys know the lingo, can let me know. But anyway, the only 100% cotton yarn that I had that I thought would be thick enough was Peaches and Cream. But see, they call theirs worsted. And it's 4-ply. And so it's got 2.5 ounces, 70.9 grams. So this one comes in 50 grams, and that's 93 yards. So I think this is comparable. I think they could be comparable because you've got 120 yards, but it's in 70 grams, so there's more of it. Well, anyway, that's what I used because it's what I had. And I used this in the color, and you have 3 colors here. And this is mine. I used that Peaches and Cream in gold, and I used the Peaches and Cream in sage. And this is Peaches and Cream Lilac. Those of you that have been around for a while will remember that I used this lilac to make a cardigan, the Luna cardigan, and a while back. And so I thought that looked lovely. But of course, it's me talking about my work. But anyway, it's a corner-to-corner design with a border, corner-to-corner design with a border and a chart. This is not explained in words. You have to follow a chart. So it's not a first for me. I have followed a chart before, but it was my first corner to corner in a chart. And there were times where, I'll just give you an idea of what the chart looks like here. So in the chart, when you look at it, you have for this one, you had to, on the odd rows, you need to read from the bottom diagonally, and on the even rows you need to read from the top diagonally. And so, of course, I did get that mixed up at some point through it, and I had to rip back because it just wasn't looking like the way hers was looking. But the design is done double, so you do this pattern twice. And her design on the front, use the two colors, and then on the back, you change those two colors. So I had my border, my outside in gold and my inside in sage, and here's my outside in sage and my inside in gold. And, I did make a mistake, knowingly. Let's say knowingly, because when you turn it around, you were supposed to put back sides together before you added the border. But then when you turned it around, this was not the upside down image of this. When you turned it around, you would have one teapot facing this way and one teapot facing the other way. And I looked at the photos and I didn't see that happening. I said, well, no, but something is wrong here. So I turned mine around. So this is actually the back side. It's not that bad because I consider this the front side, so this is a back side anyway. But then I looked more closely at the photos and I was totally looking at them wrong. They're not the same on both sides. So I guess you can do it however you want, and it still looks pretty good. And I'll tell you something more. I'll confess so I can get it off my chest in case I die. Well, I hear there were two places where I did the wrong color. And I didn't realize it until it was finished and the border was stitched. It was complete. And then I kept looking at it. There is something different about these sides. And it was that I had done this one in yellow and I had done this one down here in green. So there was no way. How am I going to rip it back? I don't even know where I hid all of the colors. I don't know. So what I did was I crocheted that little square, and I glued it. And then I crocheted a square here in yellow, and then I glued it. And then I made sure that I really pressed down hard on it so to flatten it, and from a distance nobody can tell. As a matter of fact, from close up, nobody can tell, except that I started gluing the wrong side, and so I got glue on the wrong side there. But you can't tell. If you don't know that I did that, you couldn't tell. So I saved the day with that one. But I will confess because I have to confess. So I really liked it. It's double. So it's nice. I have not used it because I was waiting to share it. It'll hang in my kitchen from this day forward. And it's really thick. It's really thick, and I don't know what's going to happen to those pieces that I glued together once this gets hot. But we'll see. We'll see. If it melts off, I'll just glue it back on. I don't know. But anyway, I really like it a lot. Thank you, Jane, for a lovely, lovely, easy pattern. It's easily done in an afternoon if you don't make mistakes like I made. And I think it's beautiful. I just love it. I just love it. So there it is. That's my easy make, because when you're working on long term, you need to feel victory. At least when you are a product maker and your goal is to reach that end product, and you just enjoy it forever after you see the end product. But while you're seeing it unfinished, it just unsettles you. Well, that's the way I feel. That's how I get. And so it made me really happy to make this in between. I made it all from stash. As you know, I've been trying really hard to I really need to. I mean, and now with all of this series of events and all these difficulties where we've been losing so many people, I mean, you never know. You never know when it's going to be your turn. And I really don't want to leave this mess for my husband to settle. So I am going to try to work down that stash as much as possible over this coming year. And keep my yarn for the project that I'm working on. I'm not going to be a collector anymore. And I know that doesn't make you popular in this world of crochet and fiber, because it's like a vicious cycle. You use somebody's yarn, you talk about it, you make something, and you promote their product, and then they're going to promote you. And so that's just the way it works. It's that type of economy where it works that way. And it doesn't surprise me at all. But this is not my business. Even though at some point I really thought there was some way where I could possibly fit this in as a second part-time job. And so I have no reason to collect all of this stuff. I mean, I did the same thing with jewelry. I have there tons and tons and tons of gemstones, of findings, and that I never used. And at that point, I was making and selling my jewelry. But anyway, I want to use this up. I want to minimize, and I want to feel that, it's not this disaster that I'm leaving behind for someone else to take care of when I'm no longer here. So those are my 2 finished items. Nothing that I was working on before that you have seen previously has been finished. I have continued to struggle forward with them. I'll show you first the salt and pepper top that I was working on. Well, I am working on it. And here it is. Now, I don't think it looks anything different from the last time. From the last time, I might have been maybe about there. But I will tell you that I have reached this point 3 times over the last 3 weeks, because at one point I thought that I should have fewer stitches, that I should bring it in a little bit on the body before I went all the way up. And then after I did it, it didn't look right, and no, it didn't need that because it's supposed to be a boxy sweater anyway. So I pulled it back, and and I did that 3 times. I don't know what the other reason was, but there was a 3rd time where I also put back. So I have done this section at the top. I have done that 3 more times. So it's been like this, Sisyphus rolling down the stone and pushing it back up, rolling out. That's the way I've been with this crochet project. Another thing is that it's gotten very terribly, horribly hot here. And so I'm okay today because it's early in the morning. It's not like me to do this recording at 9 a.m., but I don't know how I managed to do it today, but I did. And I also have a controlled temperature environment, so I'm fine. But in the afternoons, in the evening, it's heavy to work on, which was another thing that kind of like, I thought, wow, am I really going to make this? It's going to be so heavy. Am I ever going to use it? So I pursued with this one. I'm going to try and finish it because it is the imitation of a blouse that I purchased it's machine knit. I purchased it from a shop, and it is really, I like it a lot, so I'm trying to make another version of that. However, the second version of this top that you remember I was making in pink, I have discontinued it, mostly because of the fact that it's heavier than this. The yarn is significantly thicker. Now that I think about it, I probably could have made that pat holder with that yarn, but I'm putting it on standby until I finish this one, depending how well this one comes out. Because remember that when I get up here to the top, I'm doing this bottom up. So when I get up here to the top, I have to open up for the sleeves. And then this has like a boat neck, and the shoulders they're not straight across. They're like slanted. And so I've never done that before. I'm going to have to invent all that. So I said, yeah, let's just do one at a time. If it works, then I'll go back and do that one. Or if it doesn't work that well, or if I don't like something about this, then I can repurpose that yarn, because I have already seen another project that I think I would like to do in that yarn. So that is my salt and pepper top that I am making with Sara soda. yarn from Cascade Yarns. 60% cotton, 40% acrylic, as you can read there. It does not have a color on here. Well, it's got a color number 10, but I'm calling this my salt and pepper because it looks like my daughter's pet schnauzer, and that I love very much. Okay, so that is that one project that you had seen before. I will also give you an update on the longest project out of the whips that I'm working on currently, the one that I've been working on the longest, which is this Taroko. Oh, one other thing I'll show you about this. Before I go on to the Taroko, let me take a step back and just show you this is being done with a 4.5 crochet hook, 4.5 millimeter, and for my birthday, which is not yet, it is not until July, but my husband gave me this. Beautiful, beautiful. This is your Furls Odyssey that I have purchased two before myself. I gave them to myself for a Valentine's Day present. I gave myself two Valentine's presents instead of one. Isn't that the way you are with yourself? But this Furls Odyssey is in gold, and it is their most expensive hook, I believe. But what's her name? I follow her on Instagram. I know her name is Lee, and she is a crochet designer. I always say it wrong anyway. I think it's Crochet. Is it Coco Crochet or? Yeah, it's one of those things on Instagram. I have mentioned her before, but anyway, I'll write it on the screen because I can't get it together right now. But anyway, she put up a discount along with Furls where this hook was 50% off. And so the regular price was $66, and so you could get it for $33 with free shipping. And now it might not be something that I would get for myself, but since it was my birthday, and I said I saw this beautiful yellow, because you can't tell on the screen here, you can't really see, but the yellow has gold glittery spots. It is a beautiful, beautiful hook. I mean, it's gold metal. I love the hook itself. I love this part of the hook. And it's all glittery and shiny. Oh, I really wish I could share this with you in all its glory. I guess you could go online and get a look at it because I'm not doing too well here. Well, it's a lovely banana color, and nothing says summer to me for some reason. I mean, I live in the tropics. We get bananas all year round. We don't have to wait until summer, but for some reason, I always associate bananas with summer. Who knows why? We get them all year long, and it looks so summery to me, so I really wanted it, and my husband gifted it to me in anticipation of my upcoming birthday. So this is a 4.5. I now have a 4.5, and a 5. So I got bases covered maybe. I think I would still like to have maybe a 3.5. They don't do it in a 3 millimeter. That would have been my choice. But maybe a 3.5 or 3.25 so I can make my socks. Whenever I go back, get my sock mojo back, and I can make my socks. So that is a beautiful hook, and I love it. And it has made making this project a happy moment, even though I enjoy making it. Remember that I am using that the waistcoat stitch, or what some people call it, a center crochet, where you crochet in the V, like to the side of the stitch, instead of going under the stitch. And so with this hook, it's amazingly simple. It's very simple to keep your tension loose, and it's very simple to make sure you're going exactly through the V and not splitting it. So it is also made entirely with the central single crochet is at this point. Now, it's a little bit hard to show because you see the bulk, like this bulk at the front and at the back. I know that is going to be taken care of once you get the sleeves. Once the sleeves are in, they will pull to the side a little bit and you won't have that. I don't think you'll have that bulk there. But there, if you remember the last time, I was either beginning or just finishing. I think I was just finishing this part here. So I was just beginning this next stage. And that's where I modified it because you did a couple of rows after this, and then you began with 2 lacy parts. And I was afraid that since I had hopes of being able to wear this without using a garment underneath, which I know is not going to happen now because it's too warm to use on the island, and so if I'm going to have to use it in the States, if I ever get to go back there, or when I get to go back there, then it will have to have a blouse underneath. But I was afraid that if this lacy part was too close here to this section, that when I lifted my arms, you would see my bra, at least. Not my boobs, but you would see my bra. And so I didn't want that to happen if I wasn't going to use a blouse under it. So I made this significantly larger, this part here longer, and then I am just going for one of these designs like in the middle here, and then I'll have here another group of central single crochet stitches, and then I will start the bottom part of the design, which is like basically a repeat of this up here. Oh, maybe this up here, a repeat of this up here. You have something like that where you've got, I'm fading out the blue color and I'm reintroducing. In the original design, she reintroduces this white, but I'm going to reintroduce the gray, I think. Or I might do the white. But if I do the white, I don't know if you remember, but I am using Kobasi yarn, which is a blend of cotton, bamboo, silk, and some elastic. And I didn't have a light color in that blend, so I am using here a lace weight wool. But I used it double. And as I said before, since this is color work where you're carrying your yarn in back of, you carry your yarn through the back stitches. So, it's kind of thick because you're carrying 2, even if it's lace weight, you're carrying 2 strands. And at some places I wasn't able to, for example, here, because you do chains, and then you work into those chains to continue the central single crochet pattern. These chains here were really big, and so they really didn't cover up well the yarn that I was carrying. And that can just be my fault because I'm a newbie at this Colorworks crochet. But yeah, that kind of turned me off to carrying the 2 strands at the back. Plus, it's a lot thicker. It's very comfortable now, but because of that, I've got the controlled temperature. But it's it's significantly thicker than the other part. So, at this part that I'm making here, she also continues to carry the white because every so often, like every several stitches, she'll do just 1 stitch with the white. So it looks like you've got little speckles, little pecks of white going through this blue. I did not do that, so I don't know. When I get there, I'll make that decision, I guess. I just wanted to give it a try on because I've been doing that every time I present this to you. So I figured I might as well do it again. And get bad hair. I mean, yeah. It don't really matter if you can see that or not, but There it is. There it is up to now. Let's see. And I go back a little farther so that you can see. That's where it is up to now. And so I think it's going to look so pretty. I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. I think I counted like 10 rows. And then I'm going to start the beginning of the end, which is one row of something like this in this gray color. It's in the white, but I'm going to do it in the gray because I kind of want to finish it off in the same color that I started. I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind when I get there, but that's my plan for now. So that's Taroko. If you've ever been afraid of color work, take my advice and don't be. It is very doable, although this is the entry for the Roomba vacuum cleaner turned on, and so it always tries to get into this room for some reason. So forgive her. Anyway, it is well written, not difficult to follow, and just follow all of the instructions about your tension and the hook sizes and all that, and it works very well. I mean, I can see all the places where I don't know. Maybe because of the fact that I was carrying 2 strands, that one strand of the fingering weight did not cover up the 2 strands of the lace weight well enough. But I still think it's fine. This is this is an entry for the Mission Impossible Mal that Hannah is running on. I believe she's got it in her Ravelry group. It's not only on Instagram, but anyway, hopefully I'll finish it before the year is over. What do you think? It's June. It's not even June yet. We're starting the end of May, June. Oh, I'm pretty sure I can do that much in the summer. Oh, well, of course I've got the sleeves. The sleeves, I think, has got this pattern repeated in the sleeves. So it's just this pattern here in the sleeves, and then it's the ribbing. So it's not a very long sleeve to work on. Well, I am happy with that. I do like it. I would love to finish it, but it's fingering weight, so it's slow. Okay? I don't know if you noticed my hair. Well, I put a video at the beginning where I showed you. I anticipated what you were going to see in this episode in terms of my hair, because I just, my husband has very little hair, but he wants to get his hair cut every 2 weeks. It's the way he does it. And so even though he has very little hair, he wants to keep it. And so since there was nothing open, he bought a machine and he asked me to cut it for him. So I cut his hair, and it didn't turn out too bad. And so my hair was so long that I decided that I would cut mine too. And I didn't do such a good job with it, but I just got it out of the way. Lo and behold, the salons are now open, and so maybe sometime soon I can get an appointment and get my hair properly done. I think I should call, because I might want to do that for my birthday, before my birthday, because I really messed up on this side over here. I have no idea what I did to the back because I couldn't see what I was doing. My husband said it goes up and down like this, and then I've got a hole here. I'm not even going to show you that. But so that's what I've been up to. That's what I've been up to over the last couple of weeks. And so I will continue to work on those 2 projects, and hopefully I'll put a large dent in them before we meet again. And I am going to continue also with those small projects because they do make me very happy. And for some reason, I'm focused now on, I'm not obsessed, but for some reason I've got in my brain that I want to do hats. And so I'm talking about minimizing and making use of what you put your money into. I think I should make use of these magazines that I buy and that I have on my Amazon buyer, which is a gift from my daughter a couple of years back for Christmas. And I do believe it is one of the best things because I just love it. I can watch TV on it. You know how my husband always watches things on TV. Well, that I don't necessarily want to participate in, and then he always watches in the dark while I can come to my room and I can put on the light and I can do some crochet while I watch TV on this. So yes, I love my Amazon Fire, but that wasn't what I was going to talk to you about. I was going to say that there are several then on my radar small projects, and the projects that I have on my radar are hats. I don't know why, but for some reason I want to make hats. And so let's see, maybe here. And so here's one from Inside Crochet. And I'll tell you Inside Crochet. It's a beret. She calls it the graffiti beret because of the yarn she chose. I don't know if I'm going to make mine in that type of yarn, although it looks pretty sassy. But I want to make that one. I mean, it's the Roomba knocking, saying that she wants to come in, but I'm not going to let her in. And then they have also a Baker Boy hat. And so that also called my attention. I'm trying to find a picture of, I don't know. Oh, I guess they did like a blue collection. And so there she is wearing it. And I thought that was pretty. So, and I don't know if you had the chance recently to follow Addie Day Designs and what she's been up to, but her most recent project pattern was a hat also. Of course, they're from Australia, and it's cold over there now. So this is a Thatcher. And so it's a paid for pattern, so I purchased that design. And so it is another hat that I have on my radar. And so, yes, I'm pretty sure that upcoming weeks I am going to make a couple of hats and have them in my storage either for when I visit, when I am able once again to visit the United States, or some of the other trips that we had to postpone because of this virus. And if not, there'll be gifts for Christmas, because that's always a good thing to get started early with those gifts. This is all that I have to share with you today. I am very happy to be able to chat for a little while with you, and I hope that you will enjoy catching up with me as much as I enjoy catching up with you. I always forget to tell you and to mention, but I am accessible on the interweb in many ways. You can communicate with me leaving a comment below, and this on the podcast I usually try and reply to those comments, although I probably wasn't as good at doing that for the last one because of the fact that I was so busy. But at some point I go back and I look through all those comments to see if there's any new comments that I haven't responded to. You can also shoot me an email at mindandmuse@gmail.com. mindandmuse@gmail.com. There's no crafts on that one, just mindandmuse@gmail.com. I am on Instagram every day, a lot of times during the day, as Mind and Muse Crafts. And I also have the same username for Ravelry, Mind and Muse Crafts. You can leave a message on either of those two platforms, and I do go in there. I go in consistently and constantly to Instagram, but I do try and enter Ravelry on a timely basis also. And you can also visit my blog. I have mindandmusecrafts.com. I forgot my own blog. mindandmusecrafts.com, and I have there, like I say, I haven't put in a message since October, but I try and go there. I try and keep all my vlogs together there, so it's an easy way for you to find out what my latest vlog was. I haven't been very good at doing that, but now that I've got some time with me, I'll be able to sit down and do that again. And, well, there's some bits and bobs. My free patterns are on my blog also, and some of the jewelry that I used to make. There's a gallery of photos there also. So yes, if you just feel like keeping in touch in the in-betweens, there are lots of ways that you can do so, and I will happily contact and reply to whatever post or whatever comment you make to me. So, in the meantime, until we meet again, keep yourself safe, keep yourself crafting if possible, and stay healthy. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.